Hello there, I'm Simon and I serve at Vineyard Life Church in Richmond, and if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, well done for finding it. If it gets shared with you, I hope you find this an encouragement, just a few moments to share something which I hope will be genuinely uplifting for you. The season we're in, the lockdown is kind of weird, eh? And we're stuck indoors a lot, and it's kind of got its challenges. And I think we need encouragement to get through a season like this well, as we do in life generally. Now, I've been working through Paul's letter to the Colossians in the New Testament. I've been working through a kind of a verse a day sort of thing. And what I tend to do is I write down the verse and then I write down thoughts about it. I ask God to help me understand it. And then I write some stuff down. And today I was looking at verse 11 in the first chapter, which is as far as I've got. And Paul is praying for the people, and he's asking that God would give them strength, because he knows that what they're going through is tough and they need strength. Now, that's an interesting thing straight away. We need strength. We need to be encouraged. We need to find strength. Now, Paul recognizes that for us to do well, we need help to find strength. We're not going to find it in ourselves. We don't look inwardly and think, have I got strength? I need to be strong. Come on, be strong. It doesn't work that way. I'm glad it doesn't work that way, because if I look inside, I don't always find much that inspires me. I know I need to be given strength. And Paul is saying, he prays for these people, they may be given strength. So he says, may you be strengthened with all power according to his, I'm talking about God, his glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy. May you be strengthened with all power according to his glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy. Now, we need to be strengthened, yeah? But here's the killer thing. Here's the amazing thing about this verse. He says, I'm praying for you to be strengthened with all power. That's like, wow, like massive amount of strength that's supposed to go into them. And what's it for? He says, for all endurance and patience with joy. Now, it's interesting he says this, because he's saying, I want you to be strengthened. I want you to have power. I want you to have help. I want something to get into you that's going to make you strong so that you can endure. Now, that's interesting, because we go through challenges like this, and if you're anything like me, you might think, I don't know if I'm going to endure this well. Or maybe that's the best I can hope for, that I just endure. I might just get through it. But it's interesting. He says, I want you to endure. I want you to get through. I want you to persist and succeed. I want you to come through it well. I want you to endure. But he says, I want you to endure with patience. Now, if you're anything like me, it's one thing to endure, but to endure with patience is a different thing. Because sometimes we can endure very impatiently. We just think, when am I going to get through this? And we're just gritting our teeth and just thinking, oh, I want to get out the other side of this. And he's saying, no. I'm praying for you to be strengthened so that you can endure with patience. So he says, for all endurance and patience. But he doesn't actually stop there either. He doesn't just say that he wants them to endure with patience. He says, I'm praying that you'd endure for all endurance and patience with joy. That's quite surprising. Yeah, that's an amazing idea. That actually you could go through a trial, you could go through difficulty, you could endure it well. Yeah, you could actually kind of come through it well, but with patience and with joy. That's astonishing. But that's exactly what we find in the scripture. What we find in the Bible is God's people enduring difficulty with patience and with joy. And Paul is a perfect, brilliant example of this. Because Paul, when he's literally in jail, we'll find he's not just enduring, he's enduring patiently and joyfully. He wrote the letter to the Philippians, another letter in the New Testament, and people call it the most joyful letter that he ever wrote. And he wrote it from a jail cell. Now, he doesn't write Colossians, the one I'm quoting, from a jail cell, but he's still very happy. But when he's in Philippians, writing to the Philippians, he writes that from jail. So he's really in a pressured situation. Now, here's the thing. He wants them to have power so that they can endure with patience and with joy, be genuinely like happy in the midst of it all. And how are you going to get that? How are you going to manage to come through something with so much pressure and come through it patiently and joyfully? How is that going to happen? Well, the key is right in the middle of the sentence. He says this, may you be strengthened with all power according to his glorious might. He says he doesn't just want them to endure. He's praying that they would be strengthened with God's glorious might so they can endure with patience and joy. That's a breathtaking thing, but that's what the Bible offers us. That's what God offers us. Resources so that we come through challenges, not just stoically, not just gritting our teeth, going, "Oh, and get through this." No, not that. But with patience and with joy. We're happy. We come through it joyfully. And how's that going to happen? You can't do it just by trying hard. You do it by finding His glorious might. God promises that He will give us strength. Listen to me. You might be really struggling right now. And you may be going through, I don't know what kind of a trial. I know some of you in Vineyard Life are going through really painful trials. But listen, Paul, he went through painful trials, like being savagely beaten. Read Acts 16. You see him and Silas in a jail cell singing songs to God at midnight with their backs bleeding because they'd just been beaten up. Now, he went through horrific suffering, I dare say more than any of us have been through. And he boasts about his sufferings. You may know some of those passages where he talks about all the things he suffered. But he's full of joy, not because he was tough, not because he's just kind of a tough guy. No, not at all. But because he recognizes God gives strength. So he's praying for these people, and I've been praying for you, the people who watch this, that you'd find strength from God. And God promises strength. He promises to give us strength. He says that He will give strength to those who wait on the Lord. Whoever waits on the Lord, their strength will be renewed. I'll just finish with this. When I lived in Biggin Hill, there's the air show every year. And at the air show in Biggin Hill, you'd hear all these planes, and they were noisy beasts. Yeah, I mean, you get like a Harrier jump jet, so noisy. This thing can just take off vertically, but it's so noisy, deafeningly noisy. You'd be like a mile away from it, and it's deafeningly noisy, incredibly noisy. And I remember sometimes at Biggin Hill, we'd have our church service on the Sunday, and you could hear all these planes flying around from the air show. And what I sometimes noticed is you would also hear these tweeting birds. These birds that just go, off they go, flying away. Now, for us as humans to mount up like a Harrier jump jet, takes force and energy and effort, and it's like, and they manage to build these things and they finally take off, and it's just like this ferocious thing, and they're burning up fuel, and it's like, and then a bird goes tweet, tweet, off it goes, because God made it to fly. An eagle will fly without breaking a sweat, just spreading its wings and catching the currents. Now it says in Isaiah 40, those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength and rise up on wings as eagles. You want to rise up, find fresh strength from God. You just need to learn to wait on Him, draw near to Him, listen to His voice. It takes time. If you'll spare me one last thought, I once watched a guy trying to take off on a hang glider from the Devil's Dyke, some hills in the Sussex Downs. And I was waiting, thinking, when is this guy going to take off? I mean, man, he was just standing there on his hang glider. And I was like, are you going to do it? And eventually I thought, I'm going to go and ask him because I'm waiting for him to take off. I want to see him fly. And he wouldn't fly. And I was like, come on, man. So in the end, I thought, all right, I want to go and ask him. So I went up to him and I said, are you going to fly? Because we were hoping to watch you take off. And he's like, yeah, but I've got to wait. I've got to wait until I see the birds in the valley catching the air currents to lift off. If I just run off this thing, I'm just going to fall down. I've got to wait for the air currents to lift. So we waited. We waited for quite a while. And we got on with some other stuff. And then eventually we saw, oh, wow, off he goes. He'd waited patiently because he had to wait and find the air currents that come off. Now, when he caught those air currents, he started to soar. And he soared way more than he would have ever done by flapping his wings an awful lot. It doesn't really work that way. We need to learn, if we're going to find God's strength, we need to learn to wait on Him. Spend time with Him. Listen to His voice. Listen to Him. Pray. Seek Him. And as you do, you find eventually that His strength starts to come and lift you up. And when His strength lifts you up, then you can start to fly. Then you start to know the difference it is to be carried by God. So Paul's praying for these people. They'd be strengthened with all power according to God's glorious might. That way we can endure with patience and with joy. It's amazing. I hope that's encouraging for you. Forgive me if it was a little long. I'll try and keep them shorter in the future. But I hope it's encouraging. Bless you. Bye for now.